Hey guys, I'm Becky from Bookbite Reviews, and welcome to my reading vlog for Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Yes, that is right. It is finally time to grab this giant tome of a book. And today is only Friday, March 29th. I'm not supposed to be starting this until April because I read one of these a month. But this week I went to a work conference with my husband. He decided to tag along and take like a mini vacation. And he wanted to listen to the audiobook with me on the drive there and on the drive back. So I am currently almost to page 100. I think I'm technically on like page 98 or something. But we have just gotten to the Quidditch World Cup game. We just met Winky, and that is all that has happened so far. I am so super stoked to start this one because for the movies, if this is your first time watching any of my Harry Potter reading vlogs, I have never read the books. I've watched the movies multiple times, but never read the books. So this is my first experience with the books, and this one has always been my favorite movie, so I'm very, very excited to read the book. I can only imagine the amount of new things that we learn. Already it is differing from the movie, which I have found in Book 3, Prisoner of Azkaban. It was so different from the movie. Not like crazy different, but it had so much more to it, which is what I was hoping for, because books 1 and 2 are pretty similar to their movie. Like there's only a couple differences in each one, but the last book, it definitely had a whole lot more in it, so I can only imagine what this guy has, seeing as how it is 734 pages. That is huge. This is the biggest book I have ever read. It's intimidating, but I know it's going to be amazing, and I cannot wait to go ahead and read more of this already. What I have read has been so darn good. The versions that I have is the box set of paperbacks that makes up the Hogwarts Castle when they're all lined up together. So I personally love these because, for one, I personally prefer these covers. If you are a true Harry Potter fan who read the books when they first came out, you probably prefer the original ones, but for me, I prefer these ones, and I just think they're so beautiful. What I did just find out, and I don't know why it has never dawned on me, is that I absolutely love this writing style, and I have been recently reading the Amulet series by Kazukibushi, and he is the illustrator for these covers. And I never realized that until I went to add this one to my Goodreads currently reading. And I was like, wait, Kazukibushi, I know that name. Why do I know that name? And then I looked it up and I was like, oh my god, the Amulet series. Like, no wonder I love that graphic novels art. It's these stinking covers. So that is just like a little fun fact that I just learned. So that is pretty cool. So if you like Amulet, you probably also like these covers. So yes, these are my favorite covers, but I also really love this edition because this book is over 700 pages and it is small. Like, this does not look big at all. It doesn't look that intimidating. Like, it looks like maybe 400 to 500 pages. Like, compared to other books, that's insane. Like, for example, Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Mist and Fury is a little over 600 pages, and it is huge compared to this one. Like, they look like the same size, if not Court of Mist and Fury has more. Like, not only is it taller, but I think either the same size or slightly wider. Like, that is insane. At the same time, it kind of upsets me because it makes it look like you're reading less than you actually are, but much more intimidating than this guy. I will say that the only thing I'm not liking is that I am annotating these, and the paper, in order to make it such a small size, is crazy thin. Like, it's almost Bible paper thin. So it's made my life a little messy, to say the least. Oh my goodness, so far I'm just loving it. I cannot wait to read more of this. I cannot wait for the actual trials to start. I've already met Cedric. Oh, Cedric. So yes, I think that is all that I want to say about it today. I'm not sure if I'm going to be reading any more of it this weekend, but I'm just so excited. Hey guys, it is Saturday, April 27th, and it has been like over a month, or pretty close to a month, since the last time that I have checked in with you guys, but I have finally started making progress on Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This week I have been reading it, and I am now up to page, I believe, like 612. So I'm making very good progress. I'm right in the last home stretch, but let's talk about how I've been reading it and how I've been liking it. So the first thing that I do want to discuss is, if you guys can tell, I have given up on annotating. I honestly gave up with the last book. I started annotating, I think, like the first 5 chapters, and then after that I just didn't pick it up again. I wasn't really liking the way that I was annotating. I felt like I was annotating way too much, and it became more of a chore than it was as something to do for fun. So I stopped doing it. I now have a new idea of how I want to do it, but I just haven't done it yet. So I don't know if I'm going to annotate any more of the Harry Potter books, or if I'm going to try it out with other books that I own first, and then when I ever reread the series, maybe then I will go ahead and annotate, or maybe I'll start it with the next book. I don't know, but for this book I have not done any annotating, and I don't really plan on going backwards and trying to annotate it. We'll see what the cards hold though. So now for how I have been reading it. I have been listening to the audiobook pretty strictly for this, which I initially did not want to do because this is always my favorite movie. So I figured it was going to be my favorite book, and I really wanted to read it physically, especially because this is one of the longest books I've read. It is not the longest book, but it's definitely, I'm pretty sure, like the second longest book I've ever read. So I did want to physically read it, but I have honestly just not had enough time to sit down and physically read this. But I do have to get it done by the end of this month, because I am using it for my OWL exam, because I'm participating in the OWL exam readathon with G from Book Roast, so it does have to get done. So I have been listening to it on audiobook, which I feel like is a little bit cheating because I can get it done faster. But in order to counter that, I have put the audiobook, I normally listen at like 175% to try and get through books, but because I wanted to enjoy this and really grasp every single detail of this book, I have put it all the way down to 125, which is like the slowest I can listen to without being annoyed. So that is what I have done. The last 100 pages that I have left, I am planning to physically read, if not read along with the audio, but I know that the scene where Cedric Diggory is gonna have something happen to him, I would like to physically read it, just because I feel like the audiobook is not gonna get the emotional response from me that it deserves. So I definitely want to read that chapter physically. And now let's talk about how I'm feeling about this book. I am not positive if this is going to be my favorite book. I think I may have liked book 3 more, but this is definitely my favorite movie. But I'm pretty sure that I liked book 3 a lot more. I don't know yet. Let me get to the end to officially decide. But I really have to wait until I finish the series to decide what my favorite book is anyways. But so far I'm feeling that it is book 3. I am really enjoying that ever since book 3, these are very different from the movie. So I'm really enjoying it. So far it has just been that there are more details about things in here, and maybe some characters missing. There hasn't really been like a whole lot of differing in plot. This one though I feel like is pretty darn different, which is what I was expecting because of the sheer size of it. And for one, Sirius Black is a pretty key factor in this book. We see him a whole lot in this book, which is not how we see it in the movies. There is one change that I didn't really like, and that is when Harry is facing task 2, which is to go into the lake and see the mer people in order to save Ron. He is supposed to get the gillyweed from Neville Longbottom, and in the book he gets it from Dobby. And when it happened, I was pretty upset because I feel like that is one of the moments in the movie when we realize that Neville is not as dumb or as useless as he has been made to believe in all of the previous movies. And so this is where it shows that Neville is important and that he is a good guy. And when they changed it in the book, I was pretty upset because I was like, this is where we start to feel feelings for Neville Longbottom, and you have changed it. So I was a little upset, but there is a pretty big difference in the book from the movie when it comes to Neville, and that is in the movies, Neville's parents are dead. They were killed by Death Eaters, and in the books, his parents are still alive, but they are completely out of their mind due to the torture that the Death Eaters do to his parents in order to find out information on Voldemort. And so his parents are still alive, but they're completely out of their mind, and they do not even recognize Neville. Harry finds out that Neville and his grandmother visit them very frequently, and they have no idea who Neville is, and it's just very, very heartbreaking. And I think that that piece being different from the movies upsets me more than it being different of who gives Harry the gillyweed. And I think that that scene of knowing what Neville goes through and why he was so upset in Defense Against the Dark Arts when they learn about the Crucio Curse is what really truly makes us feel for Neville and learn more about him. And I just absolutely loved that difference. I absolutely love Spew. I love Hermione's just absolute passion for trying to get these elves to be free. I am loving the scenes in the kitchen. I am so upset that that was taken out of the movies. It is just so awesome. And yes, I am really, really enjoying this book. This one I feel is where we first start to have things that are completely taken out of the movie, like drastically different. So I am enjoying that, but I just don't know if this is going to be my favorite book, which kind of makes me sad. But I think it's good to have a different favorite movie and a different favorite book because they are two very different mediums and are very differing now that I'm reading them. Still very much enjoying this. I'm loving the ride. I just feel like the action is much better portrayed visually than it is in print. That's just how I feel about that. Plus, I don't love Cedric Diggory as much as in the book because it doesn't say in the book that it's Robert Pattinson that's playing him. So that definitely plays a pretty big factor in me liking Cedric. In the books, he's kind of like a nobody to me. I don't really care about Cedric. So I'm not really sure if his death is really gonna be that important to me. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Yes, I will check back in with you guys once I finish this. I'm pretty sure this is going to be one of the shortest reading vlogs that I have done. That is okay. I'll check back in with you guys later. Hey guys, today it is Saturday, and last night I finished Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. It is officially done. I know that this reading vlog was pretty darn short because I did read a big chunk of this in a very small amount of time, and I didn't come on here and update too often. But it is finished, and I am now officially saying that number 4 may be my favorite movie, but right now I'm going to say that book 3 is my favorite of the books so far. I didn't end up reading any of the last bit physically. I listened to the entire thing on audio, but I feel like even if I would have read it physically, I don't think it would have gotten an emotional response from me due to Cedric like the movie does, because I feel that this book is done much better in the movie because this is such a visual book, and the scene where Cedric dies happens very, very quick, and I feel like in the books we don't get to know Cedric very much, so I don't think that I would have been that sad if I would have physically read it, even maybe if I would have read these for the first time before the movies. What did kind of get to me in the feels is when Harry finds out that Mad-Eye Moody, or the person pretending to be Mad-Eye Moody, is the one that has caused all this turmoil for Harry. I really felt for Harry because he starts to go into like this whole downward spiral in his head, and it really takes a pretty big toll on Harry of finding out everything. I really, really love the part where he gave the money to Fred and George, and I do wish that that was included in the movie because I think that was just such a sweet moment where Harry is so adamant about not wanting that money, not because he has enough money from what his parents have left him, but because he wants nothing to do with it because of everything that happened in order to get that money. So I really love that he gave it to Fred and George, and I do think that that would have been a really great scene in the movie to show how much Harry really does care about the Weasley family. So overall, I did really, really enjoy this. I do think that this one is a 5-star book. I just do think that I enjoyed book 3 a lot more. We will see once the books keep going if it changes that one of those is my favorite, but so far I'm definitely saying that book 3 is my favorite. This was really good, but I don't know. I don't know what it was about it that just didn't really hook me. I think when we start to get more into the romantic relationships in the books, I think is where I'll really start to feel something, but book 3 was where I just learned so very much from the books that I didn't in the movie, so I really enjoyed that. I do really, really love the parts with the house elves in this. I enjoyed it so very much. I think that that is crazy that that was taken out for the movies, but I get it because of time constraints. But yes, this is still a 5-star book, but not my favorite like I expected it to be. Now I know that this reading vlog was a lot shorter than all my previous Harry Potter ones, but maybe that's a good thing because I feel like the other ones are way too long, and hopefully I can make them about this length from now on. If you did enjoy this, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. If you loved it and you want to see more, hit the subscription button. And if you want to be notified as soon as my videos go live here on YouTube, go ahead and hit the notification bell. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!